Unicorn Hunters is not a financial advisor or broker. It showcases potential unicorns on its show, but we do not make any representations or guarantees about their future value. All investments have significant risks. If you choose to invest in a company presented on Unicorn Hunters, it will be between you and the company. Get ready, world, for a whole new way to invest. Introducing the Unicorn Hunters.
We are talking about a cultural and economic shift.
A savvy group of investors whose only job is to provide an unvarnished assessment of who they think can become the next unicorn.
Still trying to come up with an idea of what actually your product is.
Sex sells, my friend. Sex sells.
What would you do with that extra $20 million?
Meet the Circle of Money, our Unicorn Hunters. Steve Wozniak, co-founder of Apple.
I am in and I'm going to invest.
Mo Vella, attorney, business consultant, and two-term White House senior advisor.
Everyone has a place at the table.
Silvina Moschini, international entrepreneur and CEO of SheWorks.
I believe in you and I'm going to invest.
Lance Bass, boy band phenom, businessman, and venture fund investor.
One word I love is disruptive, and this is that.
Scott Livingston, a securities expert known on Wall Street. Rosie Rios, financial wizard and former treasurer of the United States, with her signature on over $1.7 trillion of U.S. currency.
This could be a game changer for a lot of families.
Alex Konyanikin, a serial entrepreneur, author, and CEO of Transparent Business.
I'm going to invest.
Together with you, they're on the hunt for the next unicorn.
While all of us have our own strategies for investing and our own preferences when it comes to sectors and business markets, it's important that as you continue on this journey with us, that you do your own research, seek independent advice, and of course, never risk what you can't afford to. Circle of Money, I think we're all ready to hear about this unicorn. Shall we go hunt for buried treasure?
Yeah. Yes. Let's go.
Pedro Lichtinger is a Wharton-educated businessman with over 35 years of senior management experience around the world, including leading over 100 major clinical trials at pharmaceutical giant Pfizer. Pedro founded Starton Therapeutics to develop a major advancement in the delivery of existing cancer therapies that can increase quality of life for patients. This new delivery system has the potential to make Starton Therapeutics a breakthrough unicorn in the health sciences sector.
Thank you for having me here. My name is Pedro Lichtinger, and I am the CEO and chairman of Starton Therapeutics. My father advised me to make a difference. He was one of the first Mexicans to be trained at Harvard Medical School. And I'm here today, following his advice, to let you know how we're making a difference. We have an approach that will transform the lives of cancer patients. Cancer is terrible. It touches directly or indirectly all of us. Unfortunately, today, the life is extended for a short period of time, and in most cases, the quality of life significantly deteriorates. We're going to change that. Our focus is to lengthen life and to improve the quality of life. We screen and target blockbuster drugs that are major in the market. We improve their efficacy and tolerability with our technology. We have screened 88,000 potential applications, have selected 35, which is our pipeline, and the most exciting of them, we call it STAR LLD, targets Revlimid. Revlimid is the second largest drug in the world, It sold last year $12 billion, and it's one of the standards of care in blood cancers. Our continuous delivery technology platform reduces by about 75% the amount of drug we give to a patient. We have conducted a proof of concept. We have used the standard, one of the blood cancers called multiple myeloma models. The results are unprecedented. We had an incredible shrinkage of the tumors that were implanted by 80%. This is unprecedented in this model, and it is at the heart of what we're doing. With these results, we went to the FDA, and the response of the FDA was incredibly positive. We now have a clear path to start our studies in September. We will be reporting within a couple of months our first results. We have raised to date $27 million. We have no debt. We have no warrants. We have 3 years of audited financials. And we operate as if we were a public company. In summary, we represent a unique opportunity for you and for all of those potential investors that are watching us today. We are raising $20 to $30 million and are planning to go public by the end of the year. And the valuation at this raise is at $250 million. The valuation when we go public, as established by comparable companies that have already gone public, is in the $400 to $700 million range. The value will be established eventually by the market, but the real value is in the difference we will make in thousands and millions of patients. We are making a difference in longevity for patients. We're making a difference in the quality of life for patients. Thank you.
Great. Thank you.
Wow.
Thank you.
Pedro, I see your passion and it truly warms my heart. So let's see with the panel, what do they think?
You know, Mr. Lichtinger, first, felicidades on your leadership and your contributions that you've made in your entire career to the world. This is personal to me. I lost my oldest sister to cancer, and watching her struggle and suffer through the side effects of all of the medications that were provided to her, your product and your repurposing really gives me hope for people like her, the millions that will be afflicted by cancer in the future. So I congratulate you. I look forward to learning more about it in our time together.
You repurpose drugs that exist and change the delivery model?
Yes. When you give Revlimid, you give it every 24 hours. It has what we call a 3-hour half-life. That means every 3 hours, 50% of what you take, you metabolize and excrete. So by the 12th hour, you fall below the minimum efficacious level, and by the 14th hour, there is virtually no drug in the patient. This allows the cancer cells to have a breathing space of 10 to 12 hours every single day and potentially develop resistance. We target the efficacious level. It's a 7-day patch. You put it in your shoulder and you don't take it off for 7 days. And it continuously releases. And then it eliminates the amount of time where there is virtually no drug.
You know, I've been involved in healthcare investing for a long time on behalf of clients and everything, and it's really all about the FDA. What are the triggers coming up for the FDA where we can see if you're making progress or not?
The FDA proposed to us and said, look, you are what's called a 505(b)(2), which means a reformulation product. So we recognize all of the history of the other one. So we don't need a big thing. Just do some blood work, shows you're below the level of the original, and you're safe. As simple as that. So it's going to cost us $1 million, and it's going to end in 4 months.
So Pedro,
this is an example.
with these $20 to $30 million you are attempting to raise, what would you be using those funds for?
To conduct the phase 1 and phase 2 in CLL.
Do you have a patent that can protect your company from others that see you and then try to market this faster?
Well, I believe that people make the difference. So I was able to attract to my board Dr. Roy Waldron, who was the head of intellectual property at Pfizer, where I come from, for 25 years. And he oversees our intellectual property strategy and execution. In the case of Revlimid, we have filed, and we're a young company, the patents aren't issued, but they are highly likely to be issued.
Pedro, I love that you're taking lemons and you're making lemonade, which is fabulous. And I love your story. It's very compelling. My parents are from Mexico. I also went to Harvard, as did my son. So a lot of personal insights here. But I love that also you don't have any debt. That's amazing. Are there any other liabilities, anything else we should be aware of?
We've raised $27 million. We have 300 investors. I have followed a completely different path. I have been offered almost weekly these debt convertibles and have said absolutely not. But now I am at a stage where I need 20 million now, and the IPO will be 50 million because, the real big studies are coming, and I can't depend on these 300 individuals to do that.
Pedro, you raised 27 million. It's quite impressive. All of you investors, individual investors, or do you have institutional investors as well?
I have no institutional investors. My view is you need to reach out to institutional investors with strong data, which we'll have at the time of the IPO.
Is this personal to you?
Absolutely. 7 years ago, my older brother was diagnosed with a metastasized prostate cancer. Metastasized means that it's gone to your bones and to your limbs. He was told at the time that he had 5 years to live. We're on the 7th year. We're very close. He takes a CBD and anything he can get his hands to manage muscle cramps and pain. He, a lot of times, has nausea. So I go back to the quality of life. What we do is we reduce the amount of drug, in the case of Revlimid, by 60%. That means that the side effects will be lower.
Your purpose definitely resonates with me. No one lives forever, but all we want to do is just extend our lives and have a better quality of life. So I think this is a great thing that you're doing.
What's interesting is, I remember my sister and I were very close. She was an amazing, amazing woman. And I think the most painful thing of living through cancer, her cancer, was this impact of the side effects of all the medications, trying every cocktail possible to try to improve her quality of life, try to extend her time on the earth just a little bit longer. So I am really touched by what you're doing, because it doesn't just affect the person who has cancer, it affects everyone who loves that person too. Because if we can have your brother for a little longer, right?
Absolutely.
If I could have had my sister for just a little longer. So I love what you're doing. In that context, it's not just the person with cancer. It's all of us that love them too.
Pedro, you mentioned that you're looking at an IPO valuation in the 400 to 700 million range, but that's not a unicorn, right? So how are you going to get to be a unicorn?
Well, if you look on your screen, these are 3 companies that went public, and within 6 to 18 months, they're multi-billion-dollar companies. At the IPO, we will have phase 1 data. In about 18 months, we will have phase 2 data, and that's where we will be.
Right. Are you planning on using this platform and pipeline to introduce new medications?
We have 5 programs in development. I chose to speak and concentrate on this one because this one is the most exciting.
Did you say 5?
I have 5 that are being worked on as we speak.
I know they say there's no dumb questions, but I'm going to try. Why wouldn't doctors give less cancer treatments more throughout the year? What holds them back from doing that and instead use the patch?
Well, the reason why Revlimid is given every 24 hours is because there are multiple studies that even when you do twice a day, remember, many cancer patients are not feeling well, they tend to be older. The trend is to reduce the number of times that you give a drug because people forget.
And is your business model manufacturing and selling or licensing your technology?
I don't want to invest in manufacturing. We are working with a company which is a mid-level FDA-approved patch manufacturer that supplies today 18 products to the market.
Pedro, what is the addressable market for your company?
In the United States, for CLL alone, our forecast is to sell $3.5 billion in the United States. We will eventually, when we have data, look for collaborations in Europe, in Canada, in...
Okay, but this is just for one drug, but you can replicate this market for many of the other drugs
Absolutely.
that you have.
That is the plan, is to replicate and develop other drugs. We have 2 other cancer drugs that are comparable in impact to what Revlimid will do.
Pedro, when will we know if this works and to what extent this methodology?
In phase 2. Phase 2 is scheduled to start in June of next year, and the first indication we will know within 4 to 6 months, because the patient unfortunately lives 3 to 4 months, and all you have to do is that you're extending life. Instead of 3 months to 6 months, you know you're gonna get there. What keeps me up at night is, can I get the money to bring this to life? I have 31 years of big pharma experience, and I have managed development in a large corporation with over 100 clinical programs going at the same time. So I know how to reduce risk, how to manage programs, how to accelerate them, all of the things you need to know.
Are these all done by controlled experiments to show causality?
Absolutely. There are 100% controlled, statistically designed, and the FDA approves what we do.
Pedro, why would we invest in you before the human trials begin and before phase 2 begins? What's your most compelling reason?
The main reason is when you actually get to humans, you get a huge spike in value.
Yeah.
So within 9 to 12 months, you will see a double or tripling of your money. And if you are patient in staying with us, this can be 20, 30, 100 times.
Pedro, so you have different drugs at different stages.
Yes.
And unfortunately, through this vaccine process in this pandemic, we've all had to learn about phase 1, phase 2, and phase 3. I just wanted to be clear about that. You have different drugs in different phases.
Yes, we have one that is entering phase 1, one that is entering phase 2, and 3 in what we call preclinical.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you, Pedro. We're going to invite you to step away now so we can discuss things in private.
Thank you very much. The mission of Starton Therapeutics is to use continuous delivery to develop a pipeline of products to transform existing drugs into better, improved efficacy, improved tolerability drugs to the benefit of patients.
So I want to start with a few thoughts. They want to begin their human trials in September. They want to do an IPO by the end of this year. I think that's a little ambitious. But then again, when I think about how cancer is such a priority for the world right now, it's certainly a priority for this administration. I think there's a possibility here.
You know, for me, it's checking a lot of boxes. I like to see a nice diversified portfolio so you got multiple shots on goal. I like to see a nice management team that's got a lot of credibility and experience.
He knows the market. He's obviously very experienced. He's a guy that cares about improving people's lives. He also understands the production processes. I think he has an enormous potential.
For me, it was 2 things really stand out. One is he knows biopharma. That brings me some comfort. And the second thing is the market opportunity. Regrettably, unfortunately, it affects 1 in every, 3 or 4 people around the world, cancer does. And market opportunity, unfortunately, is huge.
Yeah, Mo, you're right. I mean, the biotech space is huge right now. But is this just a new gold rush that's happening? And I'm really scared about the copycats.
With medication, until you get the FDA approval, you cannot sell even a single unit. He was in charge of Pfizer Europe. That's the largest company. Now they developed the COVID vaccine. So that brings a lot of credibility. But the risk continues to exist because FDA approval, no units can be sold.
Well, what I saw was a lot of this, we have a plan, an idea, we hope. We have hopes. I didn't see real research. I didn't see real data. and I've studied this extensively. You know, I don't know biopharmacy per se, but it seems like he's taking a drug that's already in existence and used, and maybe this patch will make it simpler.
Yeah.
Or it can be continual delivery. That's not telling me there's a new drug that somebody went into a laboratory and said, I am going to invent something that doesn't exist. I didn't hear anything strong.
The word that comes to my mind in reaction to what you're just pointing out is mitigation. I think that his repurposing of maybe an existing drug results in the mitigation of, I think, some of the side effects, possibly improving the quality of life, maybe.
You're always going to hear possibly, and you're never going to see to what effect. A number, because controlled experiments, like animal experiments, don't turn out ever a number saying it's this effective.
Yeah.
It's not allowed in the mathematics.
It doesn't automatically
mathematics
equate to human. Is that what you're
and
saying?
even humans, if you do controlled experiments, it doesn't really apply. It doesn't have any meaning.
Let me tell you, it's all about the FDA and it's all about the data. And if they come in with the data and the FDA gives them that phase 2 designation, this could be a pretty significant winner.
Yeah. Do you think this company has their head and heart in the right place?
No doubt about it. I thought that the story about his brother, to me, when you're driven by that type of passion and it's personal, that really resonates with me, you know?
Yeah.
But on that note, I want to know more a little bit about his partnerships.
Yeah.
Does he have academic partnerships? Does he have other kind of credible, legitimate folks or entities that can also lend a little bit more credence to what he's doing?
Okay, guys, I think we have an interesting discussion going on. Are we ready to bring Pedro back?
I am.
Let's do it.
I like it.
All right, Pedro, we are going to give you 60 seconds to explain to us and everyone watching why we should invest in your company. Let's go.
Well, first, as I said before, we have a balanced risk. By having multiple programs, you don't have what we call in the industry binary outcomes. It fails and you lose all your money. That's not going to happen. So we have a very low risk to get to the market. So financially, this is very good for investors. Secondly, while you're investing, you are basically helping people. And you are helping us not only with this initial drug, but to solidify the model so that we can bring product after product. And thirdly, you know, this alternative way of investment is badly needed. Our financial systems to fund startups are completely corrupted.
Thank you, Pedro. Circle of money, time to make your move. Mo?
Pedro, in honor and in memory of my sister, I have faith in you, hermano. I'm going to invest in you.
Thank you very much.
Pedro, querido, I believe that doing good is a fantastic business. I believe in you, and I'm going to invest.
Thank you.
I think the solutions that you're working on are very noble. My background's in finance, not oncology, so I need to take a look at the prospectus.
Yes.
You know, as a Wall Street guy, I have a lot of clients that are looking for these kind of things. So I'm going to say that I'm going to be recommending to my clients to look at all the investment documents. But I will say this. The diversified portfolio, the multiple shots on goal, the strong management team. You got a diversified portfolio of lottery tickets here. So I have a feeling that there's going to be a lot of people that are going to be interested in you, Pedro.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Pedro? As we've seen, pharmaceutical companies do rise to a very high value. But I don't see enough data yet, conclusive data on what you've got, so I'm going to hold out for now.
And I also have to educate myself a little more on this, but I do trust mohair and his gut instinct. So I am 99% in right now, but a little more research.
Thank you. Well, Pedro, you are working on a very noble cause. And that cause is close to my heart. I lost some dear people in a way where your solution would make the final months easier. And normally I would bet on you right away, even though I'm not in position to make a conclusion. I have some close friends who are doctors, and I'm going to talk to them, hear their opinion, and then I'll make my decision. Thank you, Pedro.
Thank you. Pedro, felicidades.
Pedro.
You did a great job.
You know, they say that you don't bet the horse, you bet the jockey.
Well,
right here,
that's what
this is a serious jockey right here.
That's why I made that point.
Yeah.
Because I think his credibility in the industry is huge.
Yeah.
I think it went extremely well. I am very, very encouraged. We had several of them committed on the spot to invest in my company. If I can get the same proportion in the overall world, I'm going to meet my target.
Panel, thank you. Just remember, everyone, the circle of money is not the final word. You at home have just as much power with your investment dollars as we do. You are a part of the circle of money. Remember to connect with us on social media and tell all your friends. We'll be back again next week. Until then, what are we?
Unicorn Hunters!
Unicorn Hunters is not a financial advisor or broker. It showcases potential unicorns on its show, but we do not make any representations or guarantees about their future value. All investments have significant risks. If you choose to invest in a company presented on Unicorn Hunters, it will be between you and the company.